Yeah, so my hustler mantra is that you don't know unless you try. That's basically how I built my business. I didn't know I could actually do a website until I actually did it. I didn't know I could get people to actually come to a website unless I did it. So you don't know unless you try.
99 hustles, hustles. 99 hustles, hustles. International feed. Nick Carter. Carter. 99 hustles, hustles, hustles.
What's up? What's up? Welcome to the 99 Hustles podcast. I'm your host, Nick Carter.
And I'm your co-host, International Fees.
And we have a very, very special episode today. We have Whitney Bonds of doesnt.com. She's a blogger, crushing it in the blog space. She teaches other moms how to make money online. And she's a mom that makes money online herself. She started her blog with just $80, $84, and she grew it into a six-figure business. She has 3 children. Super mom. And she just recently had a newborn, and she's still just out here getting it. This is just a story of discipline. This is a story of how anybody can do it. Anybody can make money in this online space. Whitney has been crushing it for a few years. In 18 months, she's built her business to bring in passive income, which means she makes money while she sleeps.
While she's being a mom, while she's juggling 3 kids, she's still making money, which is, I know,
phenomenal.
Yeah, that story needs to be told because there's a lot of sick parents out there that are trying to figure out, how do I balance like a real work-life balance, and Whitney explains how you can do it too.
Yeah, and she got an opportunity. I think she started her blog while on maternity leave,
right.
And since there's been no looking back. With no further ado,
let's get into it.
Whitney Bonds of triedandtruemomjobs.com. What's up, guys? This is Nick here. Don't forget to check out 99hustlesblog.com. It's your one-stop shop for all things a part of the hustle. We show you how to get money blogging, podcasting, opening an online store, starting a digital agency, or any type of side hustle you can think of. Information is our form of reparations, and we got all the resources to help get you going. Once again, that's 99hustlesblog.com. Now, with no further ado, let's get into the episode. What's going on, world? It's the 99 Hustles podcast, back with a very special guest. Today, we're joined by the one and only Whitney Bonds. Whitney, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Whitney Bonds is she runs the blog Tried and True Mom Jobs. Whitney started her blog with, I believe, just over $80 and built that up all the way to now being a 6-figure blog site. She's been featured on Business Insider, Yahoo Finance, and now 99 Hustles. Whitney truly has the mom vertical on lock. Whitney, thanks for being on the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do.
Yeah, so I'm a mom of 3 now. I have a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and now a 1-month-old. And so I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I do also run a website, like you said, Tried and True Mom Jobs. And it's been a great way to be able to make money from home and raise my kids at the same time, because a lot of the work is passive when it comes to blogging, especially the way I get traffic, which is primarily from Google and Pinterest. So I've been able to kind of set it up where I'm able to, be there for my kids at the same time while making money and getting traffic to my website at the same time. So it's a really great balance when you do have a family starting a blog. So it's been great, really. It does take a lot of work, I will say, though.
Absolutely. I mean, nothing comes easy, right? You still got to put the work in, whether you're working a corporate job or you're an entrepreneur. The work is always going to be there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
But the difference is you're the company, right? It's your schedule.
Yeah.
And you get to create the work-life balance, based on your schedule. Was that the mission at the outset of all this? Was that your goal, to be able to, stay at home, be a mom, but also generate income?
Yeah, I didn't know it would be so passive when I first started, because I really didn't know what I was doing when I first started. Because basically I built my website with the mindset that there was nothing out there for what I was looking for. So what I was looking for was a way to really know what moms can actually do from home and make money at the same time. But when I was searching on the internet for like actual success stories from moms, because I wanted to hear stories from moms that were successful, because there's so many scams out there when it comes to work from home jobs. I actually wanted to know what people are doing this and how are they doing it with their kids. And since I couldn't find anything out there, I ended up just saying, all right, I'm going to just create a platform for people like myself looking for ways to make money from home with their kids. So in doing that, I really didn't know that it would be able to become this passive vehicle where I could help people and make money at the same time. So it all was just kind of a new experience for me and not really knowing what I was doing, but it just really worked out in my favor. And yeah, so that was not the initial thing I wanted to do, was just to create awareness for moms that moms can make money from home at the same time, because it was something that I was looking for and couldn't find. So it was just a great way I was able to create awareness and make money at the same time.
That's incredible. You're a solution-based person.
for sure.
Yeah, it worked out.
So Whitney, were you blogging? Did you start the blog while working your full-time job? Or
yeah, so
you were?
yes.
Okay.
So I was pregnant with my daughter, my second child, when I started the blog, because that's when the idea came, because I was working a corporate job, 9 to 5, and I was ready to leave, but we wanted to be able to, my husband and I were living on a 2-household income. So I wanted to be able to, before I quit my job, still have some type of income so I wouldn't have the whole financial burden on him. So when I was still working my job and pregnant with my daughter, I came up with the idea to create this blog. So I was, getting up early in the morning before I had to go to work. And then I was working on my lunch hour and late at night, just with this idea to create this blog and just creating content, reaching out to moms. So I was doing all this while I had a family, working a corporate job. Wow. And so that's why I say, if I can do it with the way I was doing it, I didn't have a lot of sleep, but anybody can do this, because this is definitely something you can start with a full-time job that can grow into a full-time business for you, working part-time hours.
That's incredible. That's
crazy.
Really incredible to be able to juggle all that. And I mean, at the end, we all have the same 24 hours, but
yeah,
you made a good do with a lot of it, which
where there's a will, there's a way. Seriously,
hey,
if you want it, you can do it. It's not easy or ideal, but it is
right.
Short term too. Just the startup process of any kind of business.
Absolutely.
So like, where did you get the information from? Were you like on YouTube all hours of the night, or like
Facebook groups actually? And I don't want to say, well, yeah, pretty lucky, because I was in a Facebook group. It was a mom's group, and someone had asked a question like a year or so ago, asking for it was the question saying, are there any moms in this group who have a successful business that I can interview? So someone asked that question in a thread, and I found that thread. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is perfect, because women were putting what they do for a living, and then they put their email address in the Facebook group. And so I reached out to some of them and asked them, could I interview them for my website? And they said yes. I told them what I was doing and why I was doing it, and they said yes. So I just asked them questions, and they answered, and then I just created it into an article and posted on my website for other people to see their story. Because the one thing about Facebook groups is that they're private. You actually have to search through the thread, so it's really hard to just easily find the information. So that's one of the things I wanted to do, was just create an open, easy way to find some actual success stories that moms can do from home.
No, again, I mentioned it before, but it seems like you're a solutions-based person. So it's you keep coming across a problem, and you're like, how can I create something to solve this? And you did that. But to kind of go back a little bit on that, were there mistakes that you made early on that, looking back, you wish you could have avoided?
I'm trying to think. Nothing comes to mind right away, because I did this all on my own too. Like, I didn't put really any money into this, so it wasn't like I dropped a lot of money or lost a lot of money just with lessons learned. I just figured everything out on my own, even how to create a website, even though it was really tough, because I had absolutely no idea how to create a website, especially in WordPress. It's a big learning experience when you do all that stuff. But I can't think of anything really that comes really quick that comes to mind, because I did just do a lot of research and talking to people before I actually went and executed. So I was doing everything pretty carefully and, really studying my competition, understanding how they made money and how they wrote articles. So I just really did a lot of research beforehand before I actually went and did something. So I didn't have too many mistakes.
That's important to note, that if you do enough research, you can, learn from other people's mistakes and not make them yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So the research you did, would you say a lot of that was just going through different Facebook forums and Google searches? Was there like a certain site that you would recommend our listeners to kind of, start there first?
Yeah. Well, I found my competitor, which was a competitor called Dollar Sprout. They have a huge website and they're doing amazing. And they used to publicly give their income reports. Wow. And they were making $100,000 per month. So I'm like, this is the person that I want to be following. This is who I need
to talk to, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they had a Facebook group. They still do have a Facebook group. They're not as active as they used to be. But I was in there all the time, just kind of asking questions, seeing what they were responding to other people's questions, just understanding. And really what the way that they've been able to get so much traffic and make so much money is because they figured out Google. And that's when I realized how I need to figure out Google and search engine optimization and how to get your articles to rank on Google. So things like that was what inspired me to really know what I need to do, just following their path to success. So when I saw that how much money they were making, that was really what encouraged me to say, all right, I want to follow their model. And that's what I did.
Yeah, that's definitely relatable. I know for me, like when I saw Pat Flynn.
Oh yeah, definitely. Pat Flynn.
Man.
I put my website to his format because it just the way his whole setup is just so user friendly and yeah.
And I saw his income reports too. I was like, what? From blogging?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And then once you get into like the ad, so I think I saw on your website, you're actually using Mediavine, right?
Yeah.
And that's for the elite level, because I think you need like 50,000 users to. Yeah,
they just changed it. It used to be 25,000, which was a lot easier to get into, but now it's 50,000 sessions within the last 30 days in order to even apply to get those ads on your website.
Yeah. Can you talk about that real quick, just so our listeners understand what exactly that platform is?
Yes, so Mediavine is like the middleman between you and actual brands. So like Nike, for example. So Mediavine is the one who contracts to deal with Nike to get ads on your website. And so they do all the tough work. So you just basically are just saying, yes, so if you want ads on your site, ads are such a great way to get passive income on your website, because by simply having your article, and if you have ads on there, when people are actually just reading your article and they pass one of those ads, that's called an impression. And then that's just one of the easy ways you can make money just from having ads on your website. So if people are just reading your article and scrolling past the ad, you're going to make money from that. And if they click on the ad, you can make even more money from that. So that's just the way to have ads on your website, but you have to have first people come to your website.
Right.
And one of the ways, so you have to have traffic to your website too, to get a website like Mediavine to apply for them
and kind of notice you, to even let you apply for it, right?
Well, people really start out with Google AdSense in the beginning when they want ads on their website, because you don't have to have any traffic requirements for that, but the pay is a lot lower. So that's the one thing about Mediavine is you get paid more than Google AdSense. So that's ideally what you want. If you want to get money from ads, you want to be able to have a platform like Mediavine, because you'll make more money that way. But you have to have a nice amount of traffic to your website in order to apply. So
yeah,
got it.
And it's also a balance between. I know a lot of bloggers say you don't want too many ads because then you can look a little spammy. So you have to figure out a way to get it to have them on your site, like in a way that looks seamless in a bit, right?
Yeah, that's exactly how I did my ads, because the one thing people like my competitors, Dollar Sprout, they don't even have ads on their website. Well, actually, I just saw that they're starting to put ads again on their website, but people don't like that, because sometimes if you click on an ad, it's going to take you away from your website, and usually you don't want that. So some people, Dollar Sprout, they make the most of their money through affiliate marketing. So that's the one thing about it. You have to really think about, do you want ads on your website, or do you want to make money through affiliate marketing? Because if they click on an ad, it's going to take them away from your website. So you don't have a chance to make money through affiliate marketing. which is basically if you click on a product or service that it's a unique link that blogger has, and you make a purchase using that referral link, then you earn a commission, which is a bigger commission than what you would make typically through ads.
A normal ad, right? So just
Yeah.
kind of give a real quick explanation for the listeners what the affiliate link would look like. So if she wrote a blog post about, let's say, a baby carriage, right? In her blog, if she lists, different baby carriages, and it takes you directly to the site to go buy it, if a user buys it using one of her links, she will get credited a percentage off of that sale.
She'll get a bag.
So that's a really that's a real easy way to make money. And again, like she mentioned, it kind of has to depend on what your goal is. If you want people to sit there and actually read your blog, and that's what the goal is, then you'll probably have less affiliate links on your page, and maybe a little bit more, maybe some ads, because you don't want people leaving your page. But if the goal is to just kind of make money, then like affiliate links are a really great way to kind of spearhead that.
Facts. So I mean, Whitney, you mentioned in order to get accepted to Mediavine, you need 50,000 minimum visitors.
Right.
Your traffic on your website is pretty crazy. I mean, you have a huge audience. And so I guess my question is the blog space, it seems like there's a low barrier of entry, right? You said it doesn't take much money to start a blog. So like with that would also mean that there's a lot of competition and a lot of people who, writing blogs. I mean, you see blogs nowadays all over the gram, like fashion bloggers and travel bloggers. How do you like stand out from like all the other bloggers? Like what do you do to really like separate yourself?
Yeah, I definitely think you have to kind of find your competitive advantage too. Like I feel like everybody's talking about money, or not everybody, but a lot of people talk about how you can make money. So the way that I figured out how I can set myself apart is actually showing success stories from people who are doing it today. So it kind of just cuts through is this really real? So in people's minds, they actually know that, yes, this is an actual job because this person is doing it and this is how they do it and how they make money. And that's their story. So instead of just showing you how you make money, I'm actually showing you a person who's doing this today. So that's just the way I figured out how to separate myself from the masses. But so that's really all you have to do. And honestly, there's so many articles out there that are just a piece of junk. So I think that just because you see that people are out there and articles that are things that you might want to write about, I definitely recommend just reading them first and see how could you make that article better. Is there any other information that you would want in that article? And that's how I write my articles. I always put myself in this as my avatar to say, is this information giving me everything that I need to get started? And I really just use that to write my articles in a way that I know that's something that I would want. And if I would want it, then I think that most people would want it, because I want all the information in one article. And that's really how you're able to do well when it comes to writing articles. And that's what you have to do actually when you want to rank on Google, because Google is trying to give the users the very best answer to their questions. And if you write an article giving all the information that this user is asking for, then you're typically going to be able to start ranking, and that's how you want to be, and that's how you get on Google. But it's also using keywords. You have to be specific in how you're and what you're saying. So if someone is asking how do you make money from home, you'll want to add that word how to make money from home throughout your article to tell Google exactly what your article is about, so they'll know that this article is about how to make money from home, and they're going to push that article up so people will understand how to make money from home if you're writing in a way that Google can understand it, if that makes any sense.
Word. No, that makes perfect sense. And it's crazy. I think when we talked before the podcast on like a quick call, and one thing you said that really stuck with me, you were like, there's just enough out here for everybody. Like I was thinking about that, like that makes just a lot of sense. It's just like Google's so big and like there's so many people out there searching for things, like it's just enough for everybody to eat, paid in full quote. But like everybody can eat there, everybody can find their little lane and carve out their niche per se.
Everybody eats.
Facts.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, kind of going through, listening to what you were saying about, looking at it in a way where try to answer everything about the question that someone's asking. And I was just curious, is that something that you knew right away? Like, how did you go about beginning your writing process? Did you look at other blogs and try to understand, the keywords and format it
No,
that way?
actually, so when I first started, I looked at writing in a way to answer questions for myself. I was like asking myself, is this everything that I want to know about this topic? But then later on, when I started learning more about blogging and how to get traffic to your website, that's when I started to understand about keywords. And that happened about 6 months after I launched my blog, that I actually learned about SEO. So it didn't start out that way, understanding keywords and really how to write my articles. But when I did understand SEO, it wasn't too far from what I was already doing, because I was already trying to answer people's questions that they had and just provide all that information. So, but it was after I took this coaching class, it was a 2-hour coaching call that I took with this SEO expert. And I just soaked all the information that she was giving me in, and I applied those strategies to all of my blog articles. And then that's really how I started to rank. And when you can start ranking on Google, which is, there's 10 pages on the first page of Google, or actually they're adding more ads. So now it's the amount of positions you have on the first page is beginning to lessen. So they're like maybe 8 or 10 or 8 or 9. It depends on the topic. But basically, that is where you want to be, and you really want to be in the first or 2 positions on Google. Because if you think about yourself, when you're searching for things on Google, you're not going to go all the way to the bottom to see what the last article is. You really just kind of focus in the first, really is the first one or the second one to see what that article is about, and then you click on it. And then when they click on it, that's when you got them, and that's when you need to keep their attention. So you want to write your articles in a way too to grab their attention in the beginning, so they'll continue to read on, so they can actually pass that ad, and they can actually click on that affiliate opportunity with that link that you have, so they can make a purchase. So it's really just a writing style, but I don't want to make it seem complicated, because it's really not complicated at all. I am not a great writer at all, but you just really write like you talk. That's the one thing about blogging, that people just want to be, they want to talk to someone who's relatable. They don't want that corporate speak, they just want to
authentic.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not it's really not too tough, but really the biggest thing is just getting started.
Yeah. That's really like interesting and good to hear, because I think like when I first tried to learn SEO in the past, it was like, yo, they're making it seem so complicated.
Yeah.
Like, so like to hear you say, and I think that's why, like, I think I was watching a few of your YouTube videos. That's why I like your YouTube channel also, is because like you just say it like so simple, right? We talk to different SEO people, and they try to make it sound like Chinese arithmetic, but like it's really just, it's writing like you're talking to somebody, like you're talking to one of your friends, or like, like you got some game that you want to put people on, so like tell them like you're excited about it, and you don't have to be so elaborate.
Right.
And so you also yeah, for sure. You also talked about like ranking on Google. Can you tell us about like how long does it really take for your blog to like really like take off? Because I think in your first year of blogging, you mentioned that you weren't too successful, but then it seemed like in 18 months you were able to like quadruple that initial hump that you had to get over. Like, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so this is the thing about blogging too, is this is definitely not a get rich quick scheme at all. You're definitely it's like they say, it's a long game, and it really is. So after my coaching session, I applied all the SEO strategies that I learned from her name is Debbie Gardner, and it took about maybe 6 months before I really started ranking on Google, and it basically just so after time, my articles would start jumping up to maybe the second page on Google. Then they would just start circulating to the first page, and then to the top. And there's strategies to help get your articles to rank on Google. But basically, yes, to answer your question, it takes about 6 to 12 months for your articles to post, to actually get noticed on by Google. And there's a lot of factors, to rank on Google. But if you're doing everything you need to do, it does take about 6 to 12 months. And sometimes people will think that's too long and they want that quick traffic. And I totally get it too. But it's just so worth it because, like you said, in the beginning, I did not make that much money on my blog. I only made $5,000. But because after my article started to rank, which basically meant that I was getting more traffic to my website, which meant I was making more money through ads and affiliate marketing, my income just quadrupled. I was able to turn into a 6-figure business the second year because I did what I needed to do to write my articles in a way that would rank on Google. And then over time, they started to rank and I started to get more traffic. So I was able to make more money. So you really just have to be patient and know what you're doing too. So, well, once you kind of put all that together, it happens. And I will say also too, Google and all the different platforms I use, like Pinterest, these are ever evolving platforms that are changing with their algorithms and things like that. Because I was ranking for number 1 for a keyword, which was work from home jobs. Now they were like,
wow.
and I was getting so much traffic. Just for that one article, I was getting like maybe 50 or 60,000 page views per month for that one article. But then good old Google, they changed their algorithm and they pushed that article back. I think it's like on the 5th page now. So you can just only imagine that I'm pretty much not getting any traffic to that article anymore, which when I was getting all that traffic, I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm just making all this money and all this stuff. So what I'm trying to say is that you have to be able to adjust and figure something else out, because when Google changed their algorithm, they started to favor these bigger brands. So if you go to like work from home jobs, you'll see Forbes is on the first page now. And my little site
and you
cannot
with that.
I cannot compete with Forbes, not being so new. So so what I'm doing now is I am writing articles with lesser that are not so competitive, so I can still rank and get that traffic to my website. And I'm just adjusting to what is now happening. And yes, it did hurt when my article was pushed back to the 5th page, but you just can't give up. You're gonna have to continue to evolve as these platforms evolve, learn their changes, and then adjust and keep it going, because that's one thing about blogging. It never change. I mean, it's always changing and ever evolving.
Right.
And that's why I'm doing YouTube now too, because everybody's not searching on Google. Everybody's not on Pinterest. And
True.
There's another set of audience that actually like to watch videos. So now I'm just trying to expand my reach, because I have to continue to evolve just like these platforms are. So that's one thing you have to be open to when it comes to blogging too, I will say.
Right. And that's kind of like, I mean, and that's kind of the rules of entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah,
if you're looking for, safe and generally structured, then you probably should stay in the corporate world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
If that's what you want, if you're more concerned with just, I'd rather have a routine that someone tells me where to be, when to be, and I know how much I'm going to make every time, then maybe that's the lifestyle you want. But for the people, out there that want to have more control of their life and what they consider, the work-life balance, it's entrepreneurship. But with that comes its own challenges. With that comes, having to evolve, having to change your content, or at least change the way you provide your content.
Exactly.
Or where you even give your content. Like you just mentioned, now you're on YouTube and you're, diversifying all the different ways to reach a different audience. Like all that matters. And to kind of piggyback off that, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you see yourself blogging still, or do you see yourself, evolving into something different?
I hate to say this, but I really don't know. I never, ever, ever saw myself on YouTube, because
Here you are.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't even know, because I will say that this blogging thing has really pushed me out of my comfort zone, because, to stay relatable and to adapt with all the changes, you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone to stay relevant too. So I really don't know. I definitely want to continue to work towards my YouTube channel to make it a success. I definitely want to build more of a community too, because a lot of the traffic that I get, it's from Google and Pinterest. And I want to start being able to capturing these people who are coming to my website. So I do have an email list. It's about 8,000 people, but I want to give more to my subscribers, because I'm not really working that area needs to improve, I will say. So but maybe building more of a community of moms and just people who want to build financial freedom, more of a community. So, and hopefully that will build too with my YouTube
With the
channel.
YouTube, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
So
yeah, that's great. And yeah, and like you said, you gotta, you have things that you're currently doing that you can improve on, but while improving those, it probably is going to open up other things that you probably aren't currently thinking about.
right, exactly.
That's incredible. No, so with that, would you say at this point you're happy?
Yeah. I will. I mean, I'm
I know
happy with where
sometimes
my
it comes
blog.
off like a really weird question, but I mean, I think it's important to ask just because, with entrepreneurship, sometimes, all you hear about is the positives and you don't hear about all this, the adversity, the struggle with it.
Yeah.
But
I,
somebody like you who went through the struggle and is now succeeding, are you happy?
no, that's a really great question because I have learned. So now that I'm making more money than I've ever dreamed of in just every per month, it's like I've realized that money does not bring you happiness. Not to say I'm not happy,
Wow.
but it's not like I feel fulfilled now. Like now I can, like, who cares that I have, like, I just,
Right.
my perspective, like everything that I always thought once you have money, it will make you happy. I'll go get massages every day. I'll get my like, I just thought
Right.
that that's the life of, that's what you want when you
That
reach that
happiness. Yeah.
place. But I'm still very frugal. I still don't even really like to spend my money. But and it does not bring me happiness. When I think about like trying to juggle all this stuff with my family, I mean, it's just kind of crazy right now, especially have my newborn. I'm like, who cares if I have money? I can't sleep at night. Like I'm still like my newborn, has me up all night. So I don't know. I just realized that even this blog, I'm so grateful for it because it continues to challenge me and keeps me like having some adult interaction or just to be able to stimulate my mind outside of just having my kids. So I appreciate it, but it doesn't make me happy as far as the blog doesn't make me happy anymore, especially because I will say I've been doing this for a year and a half and I'm in like a little blogging mastermind and I was talking to them and I'm like, I cannot write another article. Like I just cannot do it. And they totally agree. Like you get burned out when you're doing the same thing for so long too. So I will say that this is something that you just kind of even have to get a break from too, because I've been writing articles for 2.5 years and I barely can do it anymore because it's just and it's not even exhausting. I can write an article in a day and it could be great, but I'm a little burned out. And that's why I'm so happy to do my YouTube channel because it's something totally different and it's
Something
easier to
new,
do in
something
different
exciting.
aspects.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's exciting. Yeah, something new. So, yeah, I guess. And the one thing too, even though I've reached these milestones and making more money, it's like you're never satisfied because now I want to make more money and now I want to work towards getting our dream house and get a
Yeah.
pool and stuff like that. So now it's just like you got to get more money than that. So it's like you're never satisfied. And I always thought that I would be satisfied with a nice amount of money, but no, it's not
Wow.
that way. Yeah.
And okay, so and Whitney, so that's something we haven't really gotten into yet, and you kind of like touched on it a little bit. Is just how you're managing your time, because you mentioned it takes a lot of work to run a blog, and you just had a newborn also, which is
Yeah,
like a job in itself, and you're
exactly.
blogging. Like, how do you like? Are you like writing when the kids are asleep, or like you're like up all night? Like how does that even work?
Yeah, so well, right now my schedule has changed a little bit since I had my newborn. But before that, I would usually get up I use the early mornings, but actually
Wow.
I've only been really working at nap time, my
Okay.
kids nap and at nighttime. Before when I first started my blog and after I had my daughter, I would still get up early in the morning and utilize that. But since it's become more passive and don't have to work as hard, I don't work as hard. So I really just kind of utilize nap time. And I stress to everyone, you have to have a to-do list because if you don't have a list and have actual realistic goals that you can get done in that day, you kind of be everywhere and not really know what you need to be working on at that point of the day. So every night before I go to sleep, I make realistic goals of what I can achieve for the next day. And then I make sure I accomplish them. Like I hold myself accountable of the things that I need to get done on my list. So that's one thing I highly recommend people do, because I always hear that people saying that this is overwhelming. I don't know what to do. And it can be overwhelming, but if you just put things in steps, like I'm going to work on an article today, or just break it up. I'm going to do research today. I'm going to write out an outline tomorrow. Then the next day I'm going to actually fill in the blanks. Like it is not that hard if you make it. It's hard if you make it hard, but you can make it easier by just putting it down into steps, actual realistic steps that you can achieve in each day. And since this is a long game, there's no need to rush, because it's not like you're going to make a ton of money in 2 months. So if you take it slow, I think anyone can do this, especially if you make realistic goals each day and make sure that you're achieving them too.
So were you always that type of person, or like to like write down goals and like manage your time like in such a disciplined way, or like did having the kids kind of force you to?
Yeah, I think I've grown into having this kind of discipline, because it requires it, and it's not really a way around it. So I think having the kids and working, trying to figure this whole thing out has really made me even more diligent on making sure I can get things done, and having like this time block schedule and stuff like that.
That's crazy. Those are things, Fees, like those are things like we've been working on trying to adopt, is just writing down things. And you know what I mean? And it takes a lot of discipline. That's incredible. I mean, it's incredible to be able to build a blog like that and focus on your time so efficiently. And also the Pinterest game, I will say for myself, Pinterest is how you were getting your traffic on your blog. That's something I'm still learning myself also. Is Pinterest. Yes. I understand Google SEO, but I've honestly never even used Pinterest personally. So I did want to also mention that.
Oh yeah, I mean, all these platforms are overwhelming. And when these first start, I'm like, how do you get traffic from Pinterest? And like, I had the same thing with Google. How in the world are people ranking on? Like, everything was Greek to me. But I think if you really want to dig in and learn, you'll do it and you'll figure it out. And then the best part is, once you figure it out, like, you figured it out. I can tell you right now what to do to get ranked on Google. I can tell you right now how to get traffic to your website on Pinterest. It just, once you learn it, you learn it. So you just have to, get over the not understanding it and just, figure it out. Everything is figure outable. There's a book about that.
Just put in the time and it'll, that's really what it is. Everything is hard until you start doing it. And then you're like, oh, this isn't hard.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Even when you think it's like, because SEO to me is like Greek. Like, what in the world?
Right.
Like, what is search engine optimization?
No, you're absolutely right. And Nick and I have experience, talking to different people that do SEO. And it's almost like the unwritten rule in SEO is you don't talk about SEO. Like you ask the question and they're like, see, yeah, you're going to have to know like, the keywords. And then I'm like, well, what are the keywords? They're like, you know what? Let me refer you to my course. I'm like, oh. Okay.
Exactly. It is a lot to it, but I think you need to take step by step and start to understand it. And then really it just starts by doing it, like doing one thing and then you're like, oh, no, that makes sense why she did that. It's just, you just got to get started.
Absolutely. No, I think, Whitney, really, you've given us a lot of game, a lot of gems given to our audience and, Nick and I as well. I mean, like he mentioned, we're dabbling in the SEO game ourselves. So there's a lot of things that you talked about today that I think we can't wait to apply on our own. And I think it'd be great to bring you back on the show in a couple of years to see where you're at and see, how much you've taken over YouTube
and when you're bigger than Forbes.
Yeah, you'll be bigger than
Forbes. Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Don't forget us little people, right?
Oh yeah, you won't be little.
I appreciate that. And Whitney, like, for the final question, we always like to ask our guests, what's your hustler mantra? So I'd like to give you the opportunity to kind of tell us what that is for you.
Yeah, so my hustler mantra is that you don't know unless you try. That's basically how I built my business. I didn't know I could actually do a website until I actually did it. I didn't know I could get people to actually come to a website unless I did it. So you don't know unless you try.
That's incredible. That's it's real simple, and like you kind of have that marketing mind, right? You keep the quote real simple and relatable, and everyone can kind of just use that. So Whitney, You've been an incredible guest. As I mentioned before, you've given us a lot of information, and we're really excited to kind of, start using some of the tips that you've given us today. And again, we'd love to have you back on the show and kind of, catch up and see where you're at. At this time, do you have any plugs you want to give now? I mean, we're going to obviously put on the blog all your information and your blog and things of that nature. But if you want to, shout out your social platforms now, feel free to do so.
Oh, sure. So if you want to visit my website, it's triedandtruemomjobs.com, spelled just as it is, TRIEDANDTRUE, and then mom jobs with the S on the end. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can. It's Whitney_TTMJ. And YouTube, you can follow my if you visit my website and scroll to the bottom, you'll find my YouTube channel and you can subscribe.
Cool.
Awesome.
There you have it.
Yep.
And if there's one takeaway from Whitney's story, is that anyone in this online digital space and age, anybody can do this. Whitney said she wasn't too big of a writer. She has a newborn, she has 3 children, and she's out there getting it. Blogs don't cost too much money to begin. Just build a simple website. It takes about $50, $80, no more than $100 to start the website. Discipline and consistent effort, and you can start to see some success. So I think that's a big takeaway from Whitney's story. Again, Whitney, we really appreciate you for being on the show.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
You guys having me on.
no doubt. We appreciate your show. You've been a great guest, and 99 Hustles signing out.
99
Peace.
hustles.
Peace.
99 hustles. International feed. Nick Garter. Garter. 99 hustles.